Vegeta vs. Beerus. The battle finally takes place. Vegeta, the prince of the Saiyans who saw his planet destroyed by Frieza, the emperor of the universe. Vegeta was killed by Frieza in the past and failed to avenge his race, but the Prince of Saiyans always knew the whole truth. The one who knew death once and has been through all the toughest places is now back. Vegeta prepares himself face to face with the Destroyer. Vegeta wants to put an end to the matter of eliminating planet Vegeta. The planet of the Saiyans had been destroyed years ago by Frieza. For a long time, everyone believed that Frieza was the real villain of everything. But Frieza already knew Beerus the Destroyer. Frieza knew that Beerus was the one who could finish off any other being that showed up. Frieza knew that Beerus possessed the energy of destruction, and any order Beerus made, everyone would obey. Beerus was the one who was considered the Destroyer, and everyone was afraid. Beerus's great and monstrous power was being raised to a greater extent each time. What was Beerus planning on doing all this time? What was Beerus's true ideal? The Great Destroyer knew that at any moment he could wipe out any other being, but Beerus was lazy. He always wanted to let others make his ideals true. The Cold Demon race has always been a destructive race that wanted to conquer planets. Frieza and King Cold, as per their orders, wanted things to happen their way. That's why Beerus ordered the race of Saiyans to be eliminated, because that would bring balance. According to their reasoning, Saiyans could no longer exist because they believed that at any moment Saiyans could want to wipe out each other or destroy all of humanity. That was the thoughts of the Cats of Destruction. Shortly after that, Beerus arrives at Frieza and speaks. "Coldness, you should finish and eliminate everyone now. Your powers should be quite interesting. It would be cool for you to show your true energy. The power of destruction. I want you to now elevate your powers more and more. That will be very interesting. Show me everything you are capable of. I want to see what level you will reach." At that instant, Beerus starts smiling in front of Frieza. Frieza began to reflect. Frieza had been created to be the great destroyer of everything. Frieza was destroying everything he saw ahead. His father King Cold looked at his son Frieza and spoke. "You know we have a rather unusual goal, don't you? You know very well the reality you were brought into and why your objective must be achieved, my son. Finish them all. Let's go. Show your true strength. You are the one who will destroy anyone. Show yourself what you're capable of." At that moment, Frieza began to laugh. Frieza knew that Bardock had already suspected everything that was about to happen and the betrayal and his true goals. At that moment, Frieza started to smile. Until the next day, Frieza destroyed the Saiyan planet. Vegeta was part of Frieza's army. Ever since that day, Vegeta has thought of revenge against Frieza. Vegeta for years trained his power until the moment he was sent to Earth and discovered that there were Saiyans who were more powerful than him. Vegeta was in disbelief when he saw the powers being shown directly by Goku. It was his toughest fight yet. Vegeta did not accept Goku being a low-class Saiyan, and even so, having managed to surpass his powers. Since then, Vegeta started to want to get more and more powerful, but Goku's kindness as time went by allowed Vegeta to stop being an evil warrior. Vegeta saw the death of Frieza, and after several events, Vegeta ended up having a relationship with Bulma and fought to protect the Earth for several years, until the moment he became enraged again and wanted to settle accounts with Goku. Time went by and Vegeta accepted at that time that Goku was stronger. But soon after discovering that he had latent powers, he did not accept being left behind Goku. Until the moment when Vegeta faces Beerus, the one he always knew was the true mastermind of destroying his planet. Vegeta didn't know what to do. Vegeta for a certain time was trained by Beerus. At the time, Vegeta was trained by Beerus. He knew that as time went by, he would get stronger and stronger. Now Vegeta is face to face with the God of Destruction. Does Vegeta now have the necessary powers to defeat Beerus? This is what Beerus has been waiting for. Vegeta says, "Beerus the Destroyer! Haha! Now we will put an end to this story." Beerus starts to laugh and says, "Very insightful, Vegeta. This will be perfect." Alright partner, why don't you whack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos and stay on top of our entire universe of Z Warriors. Let's get back to it. Vegeta charges forward, running towards Beerus. Beerus looks at Vegeta and speaks. "Haha, you mean you got that powerful? Who would imagine a being who for the first time he saw me was scared to death and didn't know where to move could get so far? I'm glad for that, Vegeta. You really do have the blood of a destroyer in your veins. It seems that the determination that Saiyans have is incredible. This is really fascinating." Vegeta initially activates his Ultra Ego and starts trying to land several punches on Beerus. Beerus dodges it several times and tells Vegeta, "Pay close attention. Analyze this a lot. Do you think that only with that power you would be able to defeat a god of destruction? This turns out to be very funny." Beerus starts landing several blows on Vegeta, causing Vegeta to be thrown into the rubble of planet Beerus. Goku watches and speaks. It gets surreal. It seems that the powers that a god possesses become greater and greater. Whis watches and speaks. Let's not forget that Mr. Beerus ended up training in the room of the gods before entering this celestial war. It seems that Mr. Beerus knew that extremely powerful warriors would appear, so it's no wonder that he had already prepared. But I never imagined that he believed that Mr. Vegeta could cause much trouble. At that moment, Goku says, maybe he wasn't thinking about Vegeta, but he could already imagine that Vegeta would want to have that reckoning before actually entering a war. Whis watches and says, Mr. Beerus, the god, spent a long time thinking about this from the moment he came to Earth. When he fought Lord Goku, he was going to destroy the Earth, but it seemed that something about Lord Goku and the Earthlings caused Lord Beerus's heart to soften. So that's why he's having this fight with Vegeta, because maybe even that wasn't supposed to happen. At that moment, Vegeta starts to have a big advantage over the fight against Beerus. Vegeta says, "Now, you will witness the second stage of my Ultra Ego, Beerus the Destroyer." Beerus starts laughing and says, "Does that mean that you managed to master even that?" At that moment, Vegeta activates his Ikari Ultra Ego form alongside Beerus. Vegeta says, "Get ready now, Beerus. Receive my most powerful blow. Final Flash!" At that moment, a great Final Flash is thrown at Beerus the Destroyer, and Beerus takes the full blow. Goku watches and says, "This is amazing. Was Vegeta really able to defeat Mr. Beerus?" At that moment, Whis watches and says, "I wouldn't boast so soon, Mr. Goku." At that moment, Beerus appears with an enraged face and says, "You really aren't fighting with all your might. You must have learned that from Goku. Do you really think that using half your strength, you will be able to beat me?" At that moment, great explosions begin to happen on the planet Beerus, and Beerus advances on Vegeta, dragging his face along the ground and throwing him away. Vegeta says, "What? Impossible!" Beerus watches and speaks. "Before I finish you off, I'm going to explain something, Vegeta. Saiyans that you know weren't always those Saiyans that were always just looking to conquer planets. A rebellion against the gods themselves would happen in the past, and one of these beings that King Vegeta himself, his father, knew was under the command of the other Saiyans. This Saiyan was much more powerful than his own father and made him a puppet." Who is Beerus talking about? At that moment, Vegeta watches and says, "What are you talking about?" Whis observes and speaks. So does that mean he's going to reveal everything? Beerus says, "Now you will know and know the real story of the true Supreme God Saiyan. That God who was from another universe, and he alone ended up becoming the supremacy of Universe 7. Goku and Vegeta discover that the true Supreme Saiyan God is to blame for the death of all Saiyans. Beerus finally reveals the whole truth. What is happening? Goku was watching Vegeta and Beerus fight. The reckoning was being shown. Beerus the Destroyer finally reveals his true power. Beerus the Destroyer ends up telling about everything that happened before all the battles between the most powerful warriors, those who had the energy to destroy any other being. True strength was being shown. Beerus fighting Vegeta in his Ultra Ego Ikari form hadn't revealed all of his power yet, but he knew Vegeta was hiding his strength so that the God of Destruction couldn't defeat him at that moment. An enraged Beerus says, "Who do you think I am, Vegeta? Do you think that only with these mediocre blows you will be able to defeat me? I am sure this transformation of yours is not your greatest power. Do you want a reckoning? Do you want to fight me using only that mediocre power? All this without knowing the whole truth. I spent a lot of time caring and sacrificing for this universe just to bring it into balance. I don't know what happened during all this time, but after my time on Earth, I think my temperament ended up changing a little. I remember like it was yesterday that Saiyan. That certainly wasn't the Saiyan of my dream. This was in another supremacy. He lived in another reality of destruction. His ideals were always higher than even the Mother of Angels. She really is from another supremacy." Vegeta watches and speaks. "Who are you talking about? My father has always been the king of the Saiyan planet named after me. He was the founder of the entire Saiyan race. There is no other way to exist." At that moment, Beerus observes and speaks. "Vegeta, this is what you always believed as a child, but you are wrong. Everything was a failure. At that time, none of the Saiyans knew about other universes. They just believed in the existence of galaxies and conquests of other planets that they had already seen. However, with the gods of destruction, it was always different. The responsibilities we had to carry involved taking care of all universes and ensuring balance. Deaths were necessary for there to be peace in the future. Can you understand this? From the universes that were erased by Zeno before the destruction of the Saiyan planet. Millennia ago, we already knew about the supremacy of the Supreme Saiyan God, Banzarot. I think you must have known him by now." At that moment, Goku watches and speaks. "Banzarot is that red-haired Saiyan who ended up beside the purple-haired warrior sending us to the galaxy of the bloody angel Shiva. Do they have anything to do with the elimination of the non-Saiyan planet? How is this possible? What is Mr. Beerus trying to say?" Meanwhile, on Earth in Universe 7, the battles were getting more and more intense. Banzarot was fighting Broly alongside Gohan, who had seemingly defeated Zaki with just one blow. Until that moment, Zaki was still thrown into the rubble after Gohan, with only one hit, became enraged when he saw Piccolo's death and launched a blow directly at Zaki. Something terrible was still happening in the midst of this entire battle because Gohan knew that the worst could happen in that fight. Banzarot kept laughing, and Broly, even with the berserker instinct, his energy was getting worn out. Broly speaks. "This guy really is tough. Haha, it's getting interesting." Banzarot says, "Now I'm going to fight seriously with you, mortal Saiyan. As you may have noticed, all Saiyans have transformations that manage to get stronger with them, right? I've been here guarding my power because I thought it wouldn't be necessary to use it against you. But I realize that fighting many Saiyans in this universe is complicated. Because just like you who are Saiyans and have transformations, I as a Saiyan god also have extremely powerful abilities. So now it's time to show you my devastation transformation. Gohan and Broly, after hearing Banzerot's words, observe the energy of devastation. Gohan says, "What? Could this guy still get more powerful? It's not possible. Damn it, looks like the nightmare isn't over yet." At that moment, Banzerot begins to perform his transformation and the whole ground begins to shake. Banzerot says, "Ha ha ha ha, now you will know my true power, and you will understand why I am considered as the true Supreme Saiyan God." Banzerot increases his strength more and more, and his hair begins to grow, looking like the hair of a Super Saiyan 3 but red in color. Banzerot with his energy is taken every time he starts talking. I haven't used this transformation in a long time, and it's amazing. I've always waited for this moment. Now I will be able to raise my strength more and more. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I looked for beings who were worthy of being killed by this transformation. Gohan and Broly are watching. Gohan says, "And? Looks like the real second round starts now. Get ready, Broly. Let's take care of this guy." Planet Beerus. Beerus starts talking about Banzerot. Banzerot is the god of destruction of Universe 18. At this time, there was no intrigue among the gods. The gods of all universes participated in celestial meetings alongside the Great Priest and Zeno-sama's guards. Flashback to the past celestial gathering. Beerus the Destroyer was beside Banzerot in conversation with the High Priest. The High Priest says, "To what do I owe the presence of all of you here?" At that moment, Banzerot was smiling and said, "Good. Grand Priest, as a measure to bring balance between the universes, we know that my race of Saiyans, if not controlled, can be a great danger, as there are already too many Saiyans in the universes. I suggest that in order to maintain balance, we destroy the Saiyans of Universe 7, since they are weaker than the Saiyans from Universe 18. I imagine that the king of the Saiyan planet of Universe 7 is very weak. He is totally manipulated by other emperors. He cannot accomplish anything else. This Saiyan cannot raise any power and serves only as a doormat of destruction. You know very well. What do we need to do to be able to emerge victorious in any other type of battle? It would be much more interesting if only Saiyans existed in my universe, so we could concentrate the true power of the strongest race. Universe 6 Saiyans could ally with me." Daishinkan just watches. Banzerot concludes, "Don't you agree with me? It would be a great waste if we stopped for all this time to think about what could happen when the Saiyans of Universe 7 have no control and end up just becoming primates with the intention of destruction. If we analyze it well to bring a balance, a race so weak that it only wants to conquer planets and eliminate all other beings can one day become a threat." Beerus eliminated his next breed of cats of destruction, so I don't see any sense in that not happening. Beerus gets angry at hearing the words Banzerot says. "We must each take care of our own universe. Don't remind me that the other gods of destruction have the right to deduce what can happen to each universe for personal interests. Each one of us here must carry out our tasks." At that moment, Beerus looks at Banzerot and speaks. "You've got to be kidding me. I will never accept the ideals and decisions you are making. Are you trying to settle this one-on-one? You will pay, and I will finish you here and now. Then we'll decide who is right and who is wrong in this situation." At that moment, Banzerot observes and speaks. "A god as inferior as you, believing that he would be able to defeat the Supreme Saiyan God. Ha 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 ha. This is a joke. I'm sorry, but I can't stop laughing, Beerus. Ha 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 ha." Grand Priest, please grant me a battle against Beerus. This way we will decide the winner. And the winner will be able to do whatever he wants with the race of Saiyans from Universe 7. At that moment, the High Priest looks on. Beerus says, "I accept the challenge." At that moment, a battlefield was formed. Beerus would fight Banzerot, the Supreme Saiyan God. Back to current times. Goku and Vegeta are watching. Whis says, "He really decided to tell the truth." Goku watches and speaks. So the culprit really isn't Mr. Beerus. At that moment, a large explosion light years away takes place. Gohan and Broly on the ground had been thrown away by Banzerot. Banzerot's ki was extremely high. Banzerot in a few had released his energy of devastation to the rubble of the land. A large bubble begins to rise from the rubble and a voice emerges. "Haha, damn, it looks like I took a beating. That punch was the hardest punch I've ever taken. Haha. I even ended up sleeping because of it. It seems that now I managed to take a nap. This blow, I confess, was very strong. I thought I was going to die for an instant." The impossible happens. Zaki, the Saiyan hybrid god, stands up. Transformed Banzerot says, "Looks like now it's time for round 2, Zaki. Let's turn these two into cosmic dust." Zaki says, "Thanks. It looks like you saved me, Banzerot. I dropped my guard and that brat attacked me. Ha! It's been a while since I received such a strong blow since I fought Kai." Planet Beerus. Goku watches and speaks. "Damn it, I need to go there." Vegeta keeps reflecting everything Beerus says. Vegeta watching and says, "So does that mean Beerus the Destroyer was defeated by Banzerot?" Vegeta explodes in fury. "It means that my entire race was eliminated even on the whim of another Saiyan from another universe." Vegeta explodes in fury. Beerus remains silent. Whis says, "It seems that now the overcoming of the Ultra Ego will begin." Goku and Vegeta discover the true mastermind of the elimination of the Saiyans. They've been fooled all this time. True power was being shown. Banzerot finally showed his real strength. It seems that there are countless mysteries to be revealed behind the true legendary Saiyan God. Beerus reveals about his battle against Banzerot, and Banzerot reveals all his power. At that moment, a small flashback of Beerus fighting Banzerot. All the gods of destruction were fascinated by what they saw. Beerus begins to raise the god powers, causing the entire arena to shake. Champa watched with a smiling face. Champa says, "They will never be able to defeat a cat of destruction. Beerus's power is light years greater than Banzerot's. If Beerus uses his Hakai form, this battle will be over in the blink of an eye." Beerus will fight Banzerot. Banzerot prepares to show his true powers to the Destroyer. Goku and Vegeta were watching and listening to everything Beerus was saying. Vegeta was ceasing the attack against Beerus the Destroyer, but he still had the energy to continue fighting Beerus. But still, Beerus had Hakai pointed at his hand, making everyone hear what he had to say. At that moment, Beerus speaks. "You can try to attack me again, but I believe that's actually not what you want, right? That's why I've been here on the planet of destruction waiting for you, because the moment I go to the battlefield, I don't know if I'll come out alive. You need to know the truth." At that moment, Vegeta was watching everything that Beerus was saying. Beerus concludes. Back to the flashback. Beerus faces Banzerot and smiling, he says, "Haha, you won't be able to defeat me. I am from the warrior family of the Cats of Destruction. Even though you are a Saiyan Supreme, not even the Saiyan from Universe 7 of the Prophecy was able to defeat me. So you don't take chances with it." Banzerot starts laughing on the battlefield, preparing to attack Beerus. Banzerot, smiling, says, Ha ha ha. I don't care about the Saiyan from the prophecy of Universe 7. Now you'll meet the Saiyan from your dream, Beerus. Or rather, from your biggest nightmare. Ha ha ha. Let's start. At that moment, Banzerot goes for Beerus. Beerus, the Cat of Destruction, begins to dodge and launch several blows on Banzerot. The battle keeps going on and unprecedented fighting takes place. Beerus was showing a great performance in the fight against Banzerot, but at that moment we saw that Banzerot looked like he was hiding his game. Beerus initially already activated his energy of destruction. Banzerot used his devastation transformation. The two began to fight each other frantically until the moment when Beerus was getting the upper hand in the fight against Banzerot. Even the instant Beerus's body began to shudder, Beerus says, "What's going on with my body? It's not possible. It doesn't make any sense. I can't move. It feels like all my bones have been paralyzed. What did this bastard do to my body?" Banzerot starts punching Beerus, who for some reason had his body paralyzed. Banzerot starts to laugh and says, "Ha ha ha, goodbye. This is the moment of your defeat, Beerus the Destroyer. Ha 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 ha." Beerus is knocked out of the arena. The High Priest had declared Banzerot victorious, but Beerus didn't understand why he lost. Beerus says, "Was that really his power, or was there some kind of trickery? I can't understand this." At that moment, Beerus was analyzing everything. As time went by, Beerus analyzed everything when looking at Banzerot, the image of Zaki appeared. Back to current times. Beerus says, "It felt like everything had been controlled by him. It looked like Zaki was helping Banzerot." At that moment, Vegeta says, "Then, was it really that? I cannot understand." Vegeta kneels on the ground and says, "Is that the guy I had fought with us to blame for all this? He ended up causing all that destruction." At that moment, Vegeta runs in front of Beerus and says, "How dare you lose to a guy like that? You really were the real culprit." A huge explosion happens on the planet Beerus and Vegeta's body falls to the ground. Beerus says, "It seems that Vegeta's power is still being controlled by emotions, but his ultra ego has risen higher and higher, and that's enough. As soon as he wakes up, his emerging power will awaken. Well done, Vegeta. You have surpassed all your limits. A war awaits you." At least he discovered the truth. Now I'm ready to enter the battlefield. It's time to go see my brothers and probably finish them off too. Take care, Vegeta. As soon as you wake up, I'll see you in the Celestial War. Goku, let's go to Earth. Goku watches and speaks. "Mr. Beerus, I never had a great relationship with my race. In fact, since I was little, I was raised on Earth by my grandfather, Son Gohan. Vegeta and I had several disagreements in the past, but I understand that now everything has changed for him. In the past, even he didn't care about his own race, but now his ways have changed. Now let's save our friends." At that moment, Goku begins to increase his energy more and activates his Infinite Saiyan form. Beerus watches and speaks. "Do you mean that all that time you entered battles, I managed to achieve this transformation? Surely this has to do with the training of the High Priest." Goku looks at Beerus and says, "That's not all, Mr. Beerus. There is one more power that I've been keeping and I intend to arrive on the battlefield with it." Beerus looks at Goku and says, "What are you talking about?" Goku says, "The essence of Yamoshi, the first Saiyan god, I learned from the dragon god Zephyr." Beerus, with a straight face, says, "Zephyr? How do you know this guy? He fought in the past Celestial War and is the brother of the strongest dragon god. I don't know if he is someone I should trust." At that instant, Goku says, "Observe, Mr. Beerus, my stronger transformation." At that moment, Yamoshi's image begins to appear over Goku's front. An image of the galaxy begins to emerge and Goku's body begins to receive energy from the constellations. Whis starts watching and says, "What an incredible power, Sir Goku! But what will this entail for your body in the future?" His energy increases more and more and combines the power of infinite Ultra Instinct alongside the power of Super Saiyan. But now it's like you're gathering the power of a spirit bomb from the universe and consuming all that power for your body. Are you sure you can control all that power? At that moment, Beerus observes and speaks. "What are you doing, Goku?" The entire planet Beerus begins to shake and Vegeta remains unconscious. Goku's body begins to change. His skin begins to turn blue, the color of a dark sky full of stars. His eyes turn white. His infinite Saiyan hair continues. Goku says, "This is my most powerful transformation, the infinite Saiyan Omni." Beerus says, "Haha, this can only be madness. What level does this Goku want to reach?" Beerus starts to think. "I hope you know what you're doing. Daishinkan may not have told you the risk of using this type of transformation. Everyone who used the Omni form ended up losing control and going crazy, with the idea of being heroes and being able to save everyone. They ended up destroying everything and becoming the greatest villains. Watch out, son Goku." Goku says, "With that power, I'm sure they'll be able to finish off those two. It seems that everything that happened was a bit complicated. But now that we know the truth, we can't let it all stay like this. Banzerot, this time I won't let my guard down for you and Zaki anymore. I don't care if you are a god of destruction from the past or if you are on the side of the Saiyan hybrid. I am Son Goku, the mortal of Universe 7 who wants to overcome his limits more and more. I'm excited. We'll settle the score once and for all." Goku increases his power more and more with his new transformation and teleports from the planet of destruction alongside Beerus, straight to Earth. Gohan and Broly were having a hard time fighting Banzerot and Zaki together. Gohan says, "Damn, how are you still alive? I was so sure I was done with you." Broly watches and speaks. "These guys are more complicated than I thought. I'll have to use my ultimate resource." Banzerot, in his form of devastation, says, "Ha ha ha ha, you two make me laugh until you are resisting well. Just thinking that everything indicated that you would not even be able to stand up after receiving my blows. I confess that I am surprised by this, but I don't have time to play with you anymore. That will be the end of everything. Get ready." Banzerot creates a large sphere of energy to directly eliminate Gohan and Broly. At that moment, everyone's body starts to shudder. Gohan and Broly speak. "What is that? What devastating energy is this? At the same time, it's pure." Gohan smiles and says, "Haha, I know that energy." Banzerot beside Zaki stops the attack and says, "It's not possible. That guy again? Did he manage to escape Shiva?" In another location on Earth, Goku and Beerus arrive. Goku says, "It's time to start putting an end to these guys, Mr. Beerus. Haha." Moments ago, Beerus and Goku appeared to help Gohan and Broly. Goku returns to Earth alongside Beerus. Beerus speaks. "Looks like we got here just in time, Goku. Vegeta will arrive soon and we will be able to resolve this situation. But maybe when Vegeta gets here, it might be too late. It seems that Gohan will increase his powers even more, but he still can't have 100% control of them. You Saiyans are very curious about your transformations. I remember until today when everyone thought that the giant ape transformation was the limit of your power." Goku starts laughing and says, "We have no limits to our powers, Sir Beerus." Beerus watches and speaks. "Haha, very interesting. These guys are getting on my nerves. I've held back until now. They are causing the most destruction in my universe." The only one authorized to destroy things here is me. Maybe it's time we eliminate these two Supreme Saiyans soon, because they can become an even bigger threat. I carry my fury to release on Banzerot since that day. I will never accept that this guy dominates any of my territory. You will pay for everything you've done. I think it's time we made them back off. After that, I will deal with my race. It won't do any good for you to attack so many cats of destruction if you don't go to the boss who is commanding this whole attack. Surely my father will want to end them all. At that moment, Beerus goes directly with Goku to the place where Banzerot was fighting Gohan and Broly. At that moment, Gohan and Broly were holding the battle, receiving attacks from Zaki, who had shown to have extremely high powers. Zaki says, "You've managed to get a lot stronger, haven't you, son Gohan? Haha, that blow you hit me hurt a lot. Knowing this, now I will be very careful and show the true Saiyan and Makaioshin hybrid essence to you. It seems that this power combined with your rage gets higher and higher, but you won't have much chance to do anything." Impressed, Gohan watches and says, "Is this guy still alive? How is this possible? I was sure that the blow I landed on him was enough to finish defeating him, but now inexplicably he came back and apparently much stronger than before. Looks like he got his powers back. I always knew that this transformation of mine was a double-edged sword. After the second beast form is brought out, if the enemy is not defeated in this blow, the end is practically declared. Fighting Banzerot and this guy gets harder. It seems that something very similar to Mr. Piccolo is happening to me. If this continues, I will end up losing all my energy. I do not know what else to do. I need to pay close attention to this." In that instant, we can directly see that Gohan ends up increasing his powers more and more and says, "This will be all or nothing." The moment Gohan goes to attack Banzerot and Zaki, Zaki was creating a large sphere of dark energy to eliminate Gohan and Broly. At that moment, a great light appears on the battlefield. A laugh arises. "Haha, phew, that was close, Sir Beerus. I'm excited. Haven't seen these guys in a while." Goku looks at the battlefield and sees that everything is completely destroyed. Goku says, "You see, the fighting must have been very strong here. Practically this entire area of land is destroyed." Beerus says, "I think you're pretty tired, son Goku. Wait a bit. Now we're going to resolve this situation with these two assholes. I have the right to eliminate these guys. Let us sort this out while you recover your energies. How about that?" At that moment, Gohan smiles and says, "Mr. Beerus, Dad, haha, you made it back, Dad. That's perfect. Wait, where's Vegeta?" Banzerot observes and speaks. "How is this guy back?" Goku, without thinking twice, activates his Omni Infinity form and charges directly at Zaki. Goku says, "I've had a hard time, but then I've had enough of you too." Banzerot says, "What? Impossible. What kind of transformation is this?" Banzerot and everyone was impressed with Goku's transformation. Banzerot says, "How did this mortal reach this level? Not even I, who am the Supreme Saiyan God, was able to reach Omni form." Banzerot has a short flashback to before the Celestial War when Zakai and Daishinkan were united. Banzerot stood out with everyone, and for the first time he had seen Zeno-sama raising his powers more and more and showing Omni power. Banzerot says, "This is amazing. Will I ever be able to reach this transformation?" Banzerot trained for several moments until he achieved his Devastation transformation. After a while, it began to reach its Omni form, but over time its head began to corrode. Until the moment when Banzerot went mad and created his Saiyan reign in Universe 18, Banzerot was never able to activate this transformation again. Back to current times, Banzerot says, How did this guy manage to perform this form and still be aware of everything he's doing? This is impossible. Son Goku, you bastard. I will delete you. Goku and Beerus start fighting Zaki and Banzerot. Banzerot advances to attack Goku, but at that moment, Beerus appears in front of him and says, "You will fight with me, Banzerot. I have matters to settle with you." Goku appears in front of Zaki and says, "Looks like it's left for you now." Goku started to land several blows on Zaki. Zaki says, "How did this guy get so strong? I cannot understand. When he and Vegeta fell into our trap, the two were barely able to stay on their feet." At that instant, Goku says, "You know, I think that if you were so much stronger than me and Vegeta, what you really should have done was to finish us off. After having fought with the angel Shiva, we raised our power much more, and after we fought against the dragon god of war Zephyr, Zephyr caused us to release the essence of our powers. The power of the legendary heavenly Saiyan god lives in me. Yamoshi is with me." Zaki is impressed and speaks. "What? Impossible. Damn you, take this attack." Just as Zaki goes to attack Goku, Goku teleports and charges towards Zaki. Zaki is knocked back by the pressure of Goku's blow. Beerus the Destroyer increasingly raised his powers over Banzerot and says, "I'm sure you planned some kind of trick in the last battle that decided the fate of the Saiyans. You think I didn't notice? You managed to deceive even the High Priest, but you do not deceive me. Feel the power of my Hakai energy." At that moment, a great explosion of energy takes place. Goku showed his true energy, causing everyone around him to be impressed. Banzerot, with its destruction transformation, says, "Looks like you're back in, Beerus. Didn't you secure yourself with the other defeat you had in the past? I do not want to know about you anymore. So here will be your end. Ha 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 ha. Me? Cheat? I would never do that to someone as inferior as you. I'm already starting to lose patience with you. Your end is near." At that moment, Beerus observes everything that was happening. Beerus started laughing and says, "I seem to remember it like it was yesterday. My defeat never made sense. Did you absorb theirs from someone else, or else Zaki must have helped you?" Banzerot's energy is increasing more and more, but Beerus wasn't caring. He just remembered the fury he felt for what happened in the past. Beerus says, "Anyway, it doesn't matter." At that moment, Zaki started to try to pressure Goku, but Goku was not the same as before. Goku remembered everything that had happened and is training with the dragon Zephyr. Zaki says, "It's not possible. It is not possible. How is this power being emanated over you? It doesn't make any sense. That battle didn't last a day and you came back with that power? Is that why the priestess Zakai told you to be brought to her? Cursed son Goku, take my final blow." In a few moments, Zaki steps forward to try to land a destruction punch on Goku. Goku is enraged and uses the dragon blow with Ultra Instinct, causing half of Zaki's body to be destroyed. Zaki fell to the ground and speaks. "This is not the same mortal who fought with us long ago. Impossible. I didn't even have time to show all my power." Beerus starts to smile and speaks. "That was awesome. I knew you were capable, Goku. This transformation of yours still makes me reflect." At that moment, Beerus starts to attack Banzerot with several blows. Banzerot speaks. "What? Impossible. You got a lot stronger, Beerus. What did you do during that time? You always had a habit of just sleeping, you miserable cattle." Beerus responds by smiling. "This time, I decided to conduct training in the Room of the Gods, just to prepare for this war." At that moment, Goku arrives next to Beerus and speaks. "Banzerot, you're next." A big explosion happens on Earth. A voice comes up. So let's see if it's not the Saiyan who wiped out my entire race. I am the great Vegeta, and I will eliminate your entire existence now. Ikari's alter ego had been activated. Vegeta says, "No way, Kakarot. This guy's mine, and he will pay for everything he did to our race." Beerus appears smiling and speaks. Finally, Vegeta understood what was going on. "Come on, show us your real power." To be continued. Alright partner, is Zaki dead? Goku in his Omni Infinity form managed to defeat Zaki and was about to defeat Panzerot. What's going on with all of this? Regardless of what it is, it's more than important that you share your thoughts in the comments below so we can get into a crazy debate. Whack that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out any videos. That's all there is to it, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Goodbye.